cosmopolita de América, un crisol de multitudes, una nueva y maravillosa...
Traditional tango developed as the musical expression of a uniquely Argentinian cultural brew, mostly European, but spiced with elements from Africa and the Orient. Astor's grandfather, Pantaleon, was among the waves of Italian immigrants who arrived at the end of the 19th century. A sailor and fisherman, he settled south of Buenos Aires in the fashionable ocean resort of Mar del Plata. His son Vicente married Assunta Manetti in 1918, and their only child Astor was born 3 years later in 1921. When Astor was 4, the family moved to New York. His father had relatives there and went in search of a better life. Vicente's passion was motorcycles, but he earned his living as a barber. And during Prohibition, Vicente's brother used Astor as a decoy when ferrying bootleg whiskey in his sidecar. Vicente Piazzolla loved tango music, and one day, finding an old bandoneon in a junk shop, he bought it for his son.
My father gave it to me when I was 9 years old as a birthday gift. So since I'm 9 years old, I'm playing it. It has a left hand with the low notes. And the right hand like a violin. 8 notes, a chord of 8 notes on it. I mean, it's rather difficult in the right hand. I mean, if you do a scale, you use this technique. And when you close the C, instead of being here, it's up here. It changes. And in the left hand, it has 2 techniques completely different from the right hand. You do... The C starts here, and when you close, it starts here. So it's very diabolic. I mean, the person who's interested in learning this instrument must be a little out of his mind. Father bought it for me because he had he remembered Argentina and the tangos.
On one occasion, young Astor's skill on the bandoneon caught the attention of a well-known Mexican mural painter. But it was another, this time musical encounter in New York that proved more significant. His father had engineered a meeting with the Argentinian tango superstar, Carlos Gardel.
A great Argentine singer came to New York City, and I worked with him. I played in the films of Carlos Gardel.
Astor's movie debut lasted all of 12 seconds. Just 2 years after this film, Carlos Gardel died tragically in a plane crash.
Barcos anclados saludaron solemnes la vuelta de Gardel. Las milongas pusieron silenciador al fuelle. Las palomas del puerto volaron sobre él.
One chapter in the history of tango had closed. Another was about to open up. Nostalgic for his homeland and a victim of the Great Depression, in 1937, Astor's father decided to quit New York and return to Mar del Plata with his wife Asunta and their teenage bandoneon-playing son. After Gardel, Argentina's most popular and respected tango bandleader and composer was Aníbal Troilo. At the age of 18, Astor joined him as a bandoneonist and arranger. As Astor's music had begun to change, so had his life. Diana and Daniel's mother was Dede Wolf, a talented artist who'd married Astor in Buenos Aires in 1942. For years, it was a happy marriage. In 1954, Diana and Daniel were left for a year with their grandparents in Mar del Plata, while Astor and Dede went off to Europe. Astor wanted to leave tango behind and become a classical composer. And a music scholarship gave him the opportunity to go to Paris as a pupil of Nadia Boulanger.
When Nadia Boulanger analyzed my music, she could find maybe Ravel, she could find Stravinsky or Bela Bartok or Hindemith, but never Astor Piazzolla. So she wanted to know what I was doing. I was ashamed, but at last I told her, look, Nadia, I play tangos. And she says, I love tango. Nadia Boulanger made me play this tango. I played it for her, and she says, you idiot, don't you know, this is Astor Piazzolla.
Piazzolla I met in Paris in 1955, I think it was. We were both studying at the same time with Nadia Boulanger. Piazzolla has given the tango a new lease of life, not because he made it more popular in many countries where it wasn't until then, but because he found a very natural way to develop it.
Daniel Barenboim was also porteño, born in Buenos Aires, where he lived till he was 9.
Piazzolla came and harmonically especially developed it and modernized it in a way which it stopped the tango from just becoming a relic of the past.
The accordion player, James Crabb, and pianist Joanna McGregor are among a growing number of classical musicians drawn to Piazzolla's music. To rehearse for their first London concert, they were joined by 3 of the Argentinian musicians who'd played with Piazzolla.
Well, in this case, I was a little anxious because, playing with the great musicians who actually play with us at Piazzolla, they know the music in and out. And I know that they demand things, but it's always in a very, very nice...
Well, the rhythm that comes back and back and back is the 3 + 3 + 2, so that kind of thing. You hear it in all his music, you hear it fast and you hear it slow and you hear it, and it's like a pulse, it's like a certain kind of heartbeat. I think this is where, the style of it is hard. It's hard because it's hard for an outsider, It's something that just takes a lifetime of playing. It's fantastic, really, to work with people who have been playing this for, 40 years and who actually were with Piazzolla for such a long time.
It has every possible thing you want in music. The yearning, the passion, the restrained passion, I think it's everything you want music to be.
Yo-Yo Ma's 1997 CD was an earlier very successful collaboration with some of the people who'd played with Piazzolla.
I went to Buenos Aires and met some of the musicians that worked with him, and that was when I completely fell in love with the music. It gets under your skin. Jazz musicians say, it's wonderful, it's world music, classical music. What I love about the music is that he is claimed by everybody to be one of theirs.
But it's not quite the end of the story. Since Piazzolla's death, his music has increasingly been heard and played all over the world, in a way he could only dream of during his life.